Hello, today's theme, descriptive statistics. There are some methods for presentation of data: textual method, tabular method, graphical methods. Today we will talk about the tabular method and the graphical method. Simple tables and the graphs, however, are still very effective methods. They are designed to help the reader obtain an intuitive feeling for the data at a glance. Data can be classified as grouped or ungrouped. Ungrouped data are data that are not organized, or if arranged, could only be from highest to lowest or lowest to highest. Grouped data are data that are organized and arranged into different classes or categories. How we construct the frequency distribution table for ungrouped data. Frequency distribution. There is no difficulty if the data set is small, for we can arrange those few numbers and write them in increasing order. Example, based on results of the observations, the height in 16 students, and we have to construct a frequency distribution table. Step number 1, disposable sample elements in increasing order, like this one. First we find the smallest data, it's 155, and then we continue. Step number 2, construct the frequency distribution. Frequency distribution table, it's this table, and in the first row of the table, write the indicators in increasing order. Recurring indicators recorded once. In the second row of the table, recorded the number of repetitions of corresponding indicator. This will be frequency indicator. In the third row, the frequency of each indicator divided by the sample size. This is a relative frequency. The next about how we construct the frequency distribution table for grouped data. Example, a sample of 30 persons weight of a particular class students as follows. Construct a frequency distribution for the given data. The following steps are involved in the construction of a frequency distribution. Step number 1, find the range of the data. The range is the difference between the largest and the smallest values. First we find the maximum and the minimum data. The maximum data is 72, the minimum is 46, and the range equal 26. Step number 2, decide the approximate number of classes in which the data are to be grouped. There are no hard and first rules for number of classes. In most cases we have 55 to 20 classes. Sturgis provides us a formula for determining the approximation number of classes. It's this formula K, where K number of classes and the log n logarithm of the total number of observations. If the total number of observations is 30, the number of classes If we calculate, if you use this formula, the number of classes would be 6 classes approximately. Next, step number 3, determine the approximate class interval size. As the size of class interval is obtained by dividing the range of data by the number of classes and is denoted by L, class interval size. In the case of fractional results, the next higher whole number is taken as the size of the class interval. For our example, L, class interval, equal 4. Step number 4, decide the straying point. As the lower class limit or class boundary should cover the smallest value in the raw data. It is the multiple of class intervals. Step number 5, determine the remaining class limits. When the lowest class boundary has been decided by adding the class interval size to the lower class boundary, you can compute the upper class boundary. The remaining lower and upper class limits may be determined by adding the class interval size repeatedly till the largest value of the data observed in the class. For our example, the minimum data is 46. 46 plus L, size of interval, it's 40. We have we have of size of interval L equal 6, and we have 6 intervals. The next interval from 50 plus size of interval 4, it's 54. The next interval from 54 to 58, and we continue like this. Step number 6. Step number 6, distribute the data into respective classes. All the observations are divided into respective classes by using the tally bar method, which is the suitable for tabulating the observations into respective classes. The number of tally bars is counted to get the frequency against each class. The frequency of all the classes in order to get the grouped data or frequency distribution of the data. The total of the frequency columns must be equal to the number of observations. For the first interval, there are data 48, 46, 48, and 46. There are 4 datas. Conclusions: all frequencies belong to each class interval and assign this total frequency to corresponding class intervals. Okay, it's a tabular methods for grouped and ungrouped data. Next, graphical method. A graph presents us with a graphic picture of the distribution of measurements. The graph for ungrouped data, it's a polygon. And the graph for grouped data, it's histogram. That's all. Thank you for your attention.